video game show. It's a video game show. It's not a game show about videos. It's a video game show.
Welcome to the GamerCast Network Video Game Show, episode number 98 for Sunday, July 13th, 2008. I'm Chad, and this week for the roll call, when I say your name, a question from the listener Staircase. What is the scariest or most disturbing thing you ever saw in a game? And joining us this evening is Phil.
This one I actually just saw this week. A guy at work sent me a link for a game called Apple Shooter. Basically, you do the William Tell where you got to shoot a bow and arrow and try to hit an apple on a guy's head. So it's not exactly scary, but it's kind of disturbing because if you miss the apple and shoot the guy in the head, it either explodes or it sticks him in the eye and he starts running around screaming. So
wow.
That one's, it's not bad. It's made by Wolf Games, so check that out.
Oh my god! I just found it. I shot the guy right in the mouth, which splattered blood everywhere, and stuck his head to the wall, and his body just collapsed in a pool of blood.
So yeah, there's a good one.
Wonderful little flash games. And also joining us is Keith.
I don't have one yet. I can't think.
Okay, fine. We'll come back in a second. And also joining us is Ivan.
Well, it wasn't the most disturbing game necessarily. It was a very disturbing game, but most disturbing thing, and I don't remember if it was Silent Hill 1 or 2. There's a scene where you are walking into an old abandoned locker room, and as you're walking in, you just hear this locker shaking, and you open up the locker, and this skinless dog jumps out at you. And it's just a very freaky, frightening moment.
He's skinless. That means he's easier to cook. Keith, you got something disturbing yet?
I suppose.
You mean with all of your game playing experience, you've never seen one disturbing thing?
Nothing like that disturbed me.
I guess that means you're hard to disturb.
Especially when it comes to, like, games, because I know they're games.
You can separate fantasy from reality fairly easily. Needs to be more people like you. Wait.
No, there doesn't.
Okay, so Keith, what is your most disturbing thing you've seen?
I remember being very, very, very wasted playing the Resident Evil, where you're the dude with the knife. That was kind of spooky.
That's the most disturbing thing you've ever seen in the game.
I cannot think of anything disturbing in a game.
So what we're trying to say here is it's very hard to disturb the mighty Oot.
Yeah.
This might put it into perspective. I was on Gmail just the other day and I saw Keith was online. His little Gmail label or slogan or whatever says, "Limbless children are not less annoying, they're just less mobile."
They are.
It's just the mentality of Keith.
I think I said my most disturbing thing I've seen a long time ago on the show. This was from a light gun shooting game called Chiller from like mid-'80s, where you are basically torturing people with a crossbow-like light gun device. Here, I'll put a screenshot in the show notes.
Oh.
Yeah, it's people with like limbs and blood, and you shoot them, and there's like a guillotine, and you shoot the rope, and the thing chops a person's head off. There's a guy in a vice.
Oh, dude, that's sweet. Come on.
It's sweet, but it's also disturbing as hell.
I like the chick in the guillotine. She looks extra uncomfortable as she's waiting to die. Oh, that's sweet. They're all skinned, and his head is squished.
Yeah, it's a very disturbing game.
This week on the GamerCast Network. Check your gaming facts with the Post Game Report. On the Sarcastic Gamer PlayStation podcast, can Yoshida get a little respect? And what's up with the Killzone 2 buzz? Check out Uncle Gamer Radio throughout the week for daily podcasts from E3, one of the biggest video game events of the year. Tune in to Gamertech Radio to find out the latest news on all things Xbox. On Sarcastic Gamer, Doc and Dave are anticipating their trip to E3, and Lano's anticipating something even better. Tune in to find out what could possibly be better than E3. Discover the podcast community that brings you all these great podcasts and more. GamerCastNetwork.com.
Next topic.
Did anybody play anything this week before we get into our stuff?
No, just some of the iPhone games that came out.
Give us an update here, Ivan. Have you seen anything worthwhile on the new apps store for the iPhone?
There's two very cool applications that I downloaded.
Wait, applications or games?
Well, applications I'll just talk about real quick. Dude, because one of them is super sweet. The first one is called Shazam, which I've apparently NC or somebody said has been out for a while, but it's a...
You summon a genie shack?
No, it's an application where you hold your iPhone up to a speaker and it listens to the song and it tells you who the artist and album is. And then other than the iTunes Remote, which allows you to control your iTunes library on your computer from your iPhone, which is really cool. I tried, I don't know, maybe half a dozen games, and most of them weren't worth it.
Did any of these cost money?
Well, I only bought one game because it's actually pretty cool. It was only $5, so it's a game called Poker by Motion X, and it's poker with dice. So instead of drawing cards, you roll dice with 9 through ace on them. But the little novelty is that you actually shake your iPhone, and with the accelerometer, it actually rolls the dice. So it's kind of cool. They learned from Microsoft in that unlocking things and achievements are good for gameplay.
Oh, I swear to God, there's achievements in this damn thing?
Yeah, there's achievements and there's different dice things that you can unlock that are just different skins, essentially. It's a fun game, though.
Is there any way to show off your achievements?
There is something in there where you can put your email and your phone number in there, and I don't know if it uploads to like a leaderboard or how that works. I haven't really played with it too much.
I thought you were going to say you put your emails of all your friends in there, so whenever it happened, they get spammed with emails.
No, it's not that bad. And then the other game that I played, which is a free game, it's a game called Aurora Feint. Feint, a Puzzle Quest clone, except you don't battle people by doing Bejeweled type stuff. It's kind of a single player thing.
So it's like the single-player puzzle boards in Puzzle Quest. Okay. So, tell me here, how many games are on this thing total, and do most of them look pretty bad?
Actually, most of them look decent, but apparently a lot of them don't play well. Like, the one big one that at least Apple has been advertising a lot of is Monkey Ball, which I'm assuming uses the accelerometer.
You tilt your iPhone to move the monkey ball.
I didn't actually play that one, because that one's like $10, and Monkey Ball isn't worth $10 to me. It's also the first round of games, so just like anything else, give it a little bit of time and people will come up with some cool games.
Next topic.
We always say that. If you give things time, they eventually get better.
Except Hellgate London.
Except Hellgate London. Thank you. You knew where I was going. I had planned this week to talk about an interview with the Hellgate London developers where they had said that they bit off more than they could chew with Hellgate London, and it was rushed to meet the launch date. However, that has been all overshadowed by something bigger, which was pointed out by Infinite Justice from our forums. It looks as though Flagship is in big trouble. There are reports that employees are being fired, the Hellgate London and Mythos franchises are being transferred to other developers, and all of this is coming out without any real word from Flagship themselves. In fact, they've denied that anything is really wrong. But something is wrong because you can no longer subscribe to or unsubscribe from Hellgate London.
Oh, lovely.
Ooh.
That sounds like a legal issue.
Right now, it looks like Flagship was sunk.
You sunk my flagship.
We're recording this on Sunday, and this story has been circulating for a few days without any real confirmation or denial from Flagship.
No one's confirmed. Everyone's been fired.
There's nobody to confirm it. It sounds like, and I think I read somewhere from one of those guys who did the interview, that yes, it was rushed, yes, it was buggy. Part of the problem is that the publishers were urging them to get this thing out the door.
Make sure you mention who the publisher was in this whole case.
Well, I don't know, there was like 12 of them, wasn't there? EA was one of them.
EA was the big one from North America. There was Namco Bandai, but they were doing the Asian market.
That truly is the reason, because they rushed it out. Maybe that sends a message to publishers that this is what happens when you rush stuff out. You get garbage, and then your company goes out of business, and all of the tens of millions of dollars that was spent on developing this game is now essentially thrown in the trash.
What really kills Hellgate in the end? What really was the bad thing about it?
The bugs.
The bugs?
Yeah. When you're playing and all of a sudden you can't see anybody in the group you're with because their pictures are all fuzzy, and it's infuriating.
Would you have liked the game as much as Diablo if there were no bugs?
No.
Why?
Because it's not Diablo 2.
It was built by the same guys who made Diablo 2. What was it missing that you wanted to see?
I don't know. It's just kind of one of those hard to explain things. It just didn't do it for me. I think they could have done things slowly. There was weapons. You could upgrade 15 different things on your weapons, 2 or 3 different machines that you could drop your weapon into and do stuff with. And then annoying things happened, like you would fill up your gun with all kinds of enhancements, and then all of a sudden you couldn't use the gun anymore because it was above your level.
Yeah, one of the big things with Hellgate London was the fact that on top of you leveling, your weapons also leveled. However, they took that to an extreme, and that's okay, but the problem was nothing was documented very well.
What bonus is better than what bonus? Am I upgrading this, or is it worse?
Right, and that just never was clearly laid out.
And then there was that whole mini game thing that went on. You had to figure out on your own.
Yeah, no, they told you. If you went to the forums, they told you how it worked.
You shouldn't have to go to forums to figure
I'm
out
playing
gameplay.
the game. Why? I'm not on the forums. I'm playing the game.
You know, I'm wondering right now what all of the lifetime subscribers think. This was the plan where you could put down $150 at launch and never have to pay another monthly fee.
We even considered doing that.
And you know what? The reasons why we didn't are the exact reasons why this is happening. Because we said, you don't know how is it actually going to be. And lo and behold, look at it.
Yeah. The only thing they did right was give you a month before you needed to decide before the expiration of the Founders Club thing.
Those are the guys I feel for. Those are the guys who spent the money and they're like wondering what the hell is happening to the game I dumped $150 in.
Yeah.
That's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah. Sorry. Sucks.
Next topic.
So we all know the Warhammer MMO is coming up pretty soon. They're supposed to launch this fall, I believe, is the target date. And they really want to launch this fall, by the way. They want to launch this fall so much, they're cutting features from the game.
What are they cutting?
In this game, I guess you have the human, the chaos, the dark elf, the high elf, the orc, and dwarf factions. They're cutting 4 capital cities for the dark elf, high elf, orc, and dwarf factions. So there's only going to be 2 major cities, the human and the chaos.
Okay.
Why?
Because that other content obviously isn't debugged and all set for go.
You're going to have the same problem that you had in Warcraft where you've got too many people in one area and you're barely going to be able to move.
Yep.
Well, the other big issue with this is remember that Warhammer here is mainly a PvP, or what they're calling RVR game, which is Realm versus Realms. They're cutting down on the amount of areas where you can do this player versus player combat, which is kind of odd, but hey, they want to meet that fall launch window. And they're also removing 4 classes from the game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're removing the Chappa from the Greenskin race.
I thought that was their melee guy.
You're very perceptive. Let's keep going here, though. The Hammerer from the Dwarf race, the Blackguard from the Dark Elf race, and the Knight of the Blazing Sun from the Empire race. And they're all melee classes. And 2 of them are supposed to be tanks. So right now, the races of the Empire and Dark Elf won't have any tank classes available. But there will be a tank class, but just not for those races.
Well, that's okay. I mean, World of Warcraft does that too. I mean, if you're on the Horde side, you can't be any race and be a druid. There's only one race that you can be if you want to be a druid.
What seems what they're doing here is they're cutting out a lot of the melee classes for this game.
I guess that means melee are going to be sweet. Oh, wait. Never mind.
Yet again, melee gets the short end of the stick when it comes to role-playing games.
Got to choke up on that bat.
Is it right to do this, to try and meet this launch window?
On one hand, we just got done saying that Hellgate maybe should have not had so much stuff going on, and it might have done okay, but cut and feed, you at least don't announce that all of these things will be in your game and then cut them later, because that's a good way to alienate people who are getting excited for your game.
Yeah, I was just going to say the exact same thing. It's like, if I were to play that game at all, it would have been as an orc berserker or a little goblin guy. Now they don't even have an orc berserker. You don't release the crap early. You delay it if you have to, but finish it. Make it good and then put it out.
Next topic.
Konami, back in the mid to late 90s, did a lot of music rhythm games. Guitar Freaks, Drum Mania, and those kind of things. And I guess when they made those games, they also took out patents on the whole music rhythm game genre. Now, Konami is suing Viacom and Harmonix over Rock Band, claiming that they are infringing on the patents. Now, why aren't they going after Guitar Hero? Because apparently Guitar Hero and Activision paid to use the patents.
Ooh.
Yes. Konami is looking for some money from Harmonix as well as blocking the sale of Rock Band.
Probably a substantial amount of cash, I'm guessing, as well.
I would imagine, because Rock Band's a pretty big cash hog.
Yeah, I'm guessing that's probably why they decided to do this now, because, Rock Band's taking off. Harmonix did release a statement, popular products like Rock Band can often become targets for baseless litigation.
Yep. That could be the case as well. But this doesn't sound like that kind of case. And the fact that the other companies paid to use the rights, that's only substantiating it more.
I know it's the law and all, but I just have this problem
That's a great
against
line.
I know for some odd reason it's legal to do stupid crap like this, but it's such a shame that if another company comes along and does a better job of creating something or perfecting it in a better way than another company has, that they usually have to get sued to give up money that they earn for something that's far more superior.
The problem is that anytime any company develops anything, somebody who's got a patent that even closely resembles it is going to sue them. You know how many times Apple has been sued over the iPod? The fact that they released an MP3 player, some jackhole who claims he invented the idea of the MP3 player sued them and referenced a patent that he owns, which is something generic like musical playing device with songs downloaded over the internet. Unfortunately, the problem is that these companies are so big and don't want to waste the time and money to go to court that they just dump a couple million on these people to shut them up. Then all the other jackholes come out of the woodwork, and anytime anything remotely comes up that relates to a patent that they own, they're going to do it because they know at the very least they're going to get a truckload of money. And at worst, they have to spend a couple $1,000s in court costs. There's lawsuits going on now for the Nintendo's controllers, for everything. Every new idea that's out there, somebody claims they own a patent for it, and they're going to sue for it.
I know the controller patent case you're talking about. This is almost like a situation similar to this whole Rock Band thing. This one company held patents that they felt that Microsoft and Nintendo were infringing upon. Microsoft settled. Nintendo chose to fight, and they chose poorly because they lost. Now they have to pay $21 million.
Well,
That's not a huge loss to them.
I'd be willing to bet that Microsoft spent more than $21 million to make them go away. The only difference was they didn't have to show up in court. Back to the original story is that, yes, Konami may own a patent on rhythm music-ish games, and they may have come out with a music rhythm game with a guitar peripheral, but
There's another part to this, though. Here's the weird thing. Konami and Harmonix worked together. Harmonix had to have known that Konami owned these patents. Unless they were really stupid.
Never underestimate the stupidity of the human race.
They worked on a game called Karaoke Revolution together. This is like right at the time Guitar Hero came out. They had to have known Konami holds those patents.
yeah.
If they chose to make Rock Band and didn't pay, too bad, you should have paid.
Dumb ass.
I feel for baseless patents and baseless things, but this one sounds pretty, you should have paid.
Yeah. I think this was on our forums, and I remember posting that they have the backing of, well, I guess now they're the second largest publisher, but they've got EA's wallet to help. EA's not going to let Rock Band die because of the crap ton of money that it's making. So if this goes to court and it requires them to pay a bunch of money, I'm sure EA will be there with their checkbook saying, all right, how much?
Next topic.
We mentioned a long time ago the Ion drums for Rock Band.
Oh yeah, Chris Palladino was playing those at, what was it, in Vegas, that show?
Yes, that was at the CES show in Vegas. This was basically a pumped up set of Rock Band drums. You have cymbals as well as a metal reinforced pedal. They announced the pricing of the Ion drums. You ready for this one?
$249.
Close. Now, you think you're close higher or close lower?
I think I'm close higher.
No, it's actually $300.
Wow.
Jeez.
Does it have like a midget that you while you're playing the drums attached to it or something?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
No, it's got the fan.
There you go. I'd pay $300 for it.
It's going to be officially licensed for Rock Band. That is going to be compatible with Rock Band 2 when that comes out this fall.
That was the thing I didn't know, was that this isn't like a Mad Catz peripheral. This is Rock Band licensing them, essentially. They're official, but they're not required.
But $300 is a lot for a set of fake drums.
Yeah, it is.
There are people out there who will buy these, though. We were playing World of Warcraft, and Naruto and NC were both playing, and I was doing something, but I kept seeing them chatting about it. NC pretty much said that, he's going after these drums. He would prefer these to the regular Rock Band ones.
Are people here still spending tons of cash on Rock Band songs?
I don't know if I'm going to. Thing is I downloaded a bunch of songs, and I put them on my memory unit, thinking that I could take them to my friend's house and play them, and we had the most difficult time. So my friend's got Rock Band. He's got his downloadable content on his hard drive. I've got my save file and all of my songs on my memory unit, and it works fine on my Xbox. So I take out my memory unit, plug it into his Xbox, and no matter what we did, we couldn't get my songs to show up. maybe this is a good thing. Maybe one of our faithful listeners can fill me in on what the heck I'm doing wrong. It's not so much we want all of the songs to show up. I would be fine with just being able to play my songs off my memory unit and then switching back to the hard drive. I thought that we did that at Phil's house with Chris. He had songs in his memory unit, and I thought that we were playing them, so I don't know why it doesn't work.
He might have re-downloaded them onto my Xbox under his account.
Yeah, but then that's a pain. I mean, that defeats the purpose of putting them on the memory unit in the first place.
Right.
I mean, they're right there. Why re-download them when they're right there? The only other problem is that we play at a friend's house who doesn't have broadband, so it's not like we even could re-download them.
Well, we'll put your question out there and see if someone can give an answer.
And then for next week, we have at least a guaranteed mailbag.
Next topic.
I need an intro here to the mailbag.
Mailbag.
You and your canvas sack mailbag.
I got your sack right here. Bag filled with mail. Pretentious prick. Oh, look at me. I've got mail. I've got bills. I've got circulars. I've got Playboy. All right, and you can't have it.
Done?
Yeah, I'm done.
Mailbag!
We have a piece of mail from a rabid moose. Hello, podcast crew. I have gone back and listened to every episode.
Dumbass,
Well, hey, it's his choice how he lives his life.
I suppose.
And to go back and listen to every episode, I feel for him. And I have a question stemming from a topic mentioned on multiple episodes. You have talked and joked a couple times about one Little Timmy character. One who ruins everyone's fun because adults, namely his parents, have to look out for him in his video game playing. On other occasions, you have ranted on the stupidity of parents when it comes to video games regarding their children. So which is it? Do you prefer overprotective parents and no Bumblefoots, or Bumblefoots and Little Timmys? Love the show.
It's not a either-or predicament. It's not like it's just one or the other. It's both. Your parents can't be stupid. Little Timmy needs to suck it up.
I think the moral of the story is there's too many little Timmys and there's not enough responsible parents that have enough common sense. And they're still out there buying those M-rated games for a 10-year-old Timmy.
And that
then they
translates
blame.
into stupid parents stop breeding because you're
And then
making little Timmys.
Next topic.
We have a listener, Greater Dad, and he sent us a piece of mail on the red versus blue thing.
Blue's good, red is evil.
Yeah, but G.I. Joe had it reversed. They had red as good and blue as evil. Anyways, here's his email. I work for a defense contractor as a modeling and simulation engineer. We often work with military systems, force-on-force scenarios, etc., where there are good guys and bad guys. According to common military war-fighting symbology, symbols are useful to help identify entities on a map. Color and shape help identify them further. Red usually means hostile or suspect, and blue means friend.
Haha, we win.
You, G.I. Joe.
Okay, yeah. So they're backwards.
Yep.
Next topic.
Couple quick pieces of comic book related mail again. First one here is from JP. Just listened to the latest video game show and I love DC. I am with Chad on this. Watchmen, the new Teen Titans, and of course the Doomsday story arc is so much better than Civil War, Secret Invasion, and Secret Wars.
I am interested in Watchmen because that's supposed to be pretty cool.
Watchmen was good.
I do have to say one thing here. He goes on to say, damn the Ultimates.
What's wrong with the Ultimates?
That's what I was going to say, because I actually like the Ultimates and the Ultimate line.
I'm just going to agree with you.
Personally, I like the whole Ultimate line a lot more than the standard Marvel Universe. It doesn't have all that history baggage that the normal Marvel Universe does. You can get into stories a little bit quicker and easier. Ultimates is actually very good, so JP, I recommend you actually read the Ultimates. It isn't that bad. We do have another piece of comic book mail. It's from KC, and KC here was the one who had an issue with me hating on the G.I. Joe film from the last episode.
Yeah, he's got a Sunshine Band, right?
KC and the Sunshine Band.
That was good. I like that.
He has a question. Apparently, he's been reading some DC comics.
Not surprised.
He had collected Marvel for a few years, stopped, and now it sounds like he wants to go back and read some epic Marvel stories. Ones that you can get in trade paperbacks.
My personal opinion is one of the greatest storylines ever written is the Venom saga from Spider-Man. It's self-contained in that I know you can get several trade paperbacks of the whole saga from the introduction of Venom to the destruction of Carnage. Venom to me is the single coolest, badassiest superhero villain ever.
I gotta disagree with you, and I was gonna say the one I would recommend are Doom little mini-series.
You're talking about Doctor Doom?
Yeah, Dr. Doom.
Is that
Yeah,
why you
that-
disagree? Because you think Doctor Doom's a better villain?
I think Dr. Doom is the greatest villain, yes.
As I said earlier, the whole Marvel Ultimate Universe is pretty good, especially the Ultimates. Mark Miller wrote that, and there is some very good stuff with the Hulk. I don't want to spoil anything, but there are some really good scenes where they piss off the Hulk to take out the bad guys.
That's the best use of the Hulk. Hey, Hulk, that guy over there called your mom sissy.
Your mom said Hulk can't smash. The Secret Wars were cool.
That was going to be my second choice.
One of the best Daredevil origin stories is Daredevil The Man Without Fear by Frank Miller.
He's one of the best authors I know of who's good at producing drama in comic book form.
If you like X-Men, the recent stuff by Grant Morrison on New X-Men is very good. But then again, there's a lot of baggage there with X-Men. Always recommend What If the Punisher Killed the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. Another good one, which is very, I don't want to say lighthearted, but like light reading as in you need to kind of take it with a grain of salt, is the Marvel Zombies line.
Yeah.
It's a totally different take on the Marvel Universe, but it's actually quite amusing.
The first one I think is the best.
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Marvel Zombies versus Army of Darkness was not worth reading.
There's a few suggestions, but you know, in the end, DC's still better.
Whatever, dude.
Yeah, I know, I'm kidding. The thing is, comics, there's so many of them. I like them all, personally. I just prefer DC.
One last note, your best bet really, and I don't typically do this, I usually do go out and buy stuff, but your best bet is to like go to the library, because they always have trade paperbacks for comics, because it's also too expensive to buy trade paperbacks for all the comics you want to read.
Next topic.
I'm thinking we should probably go back to sometimes mentioning our iTunes reviews. So let's give a ham sandwich here to a couple people who left us some reviews. We had a review from Lad. Love the news and the hosts. Things move right along with next topic, and the hosts cover a great amount of information and reader questions in lovely little bite-sized chunks of 30 minutes. Keep it up, guys.
Woot.
There you go, Lad. Ham sandwich. And we have another one here from Poetic Soul 44. You guys are so awesome. It's because of you guys I decided to get a Xbox 360. I look forward to hearing your podcast every week. You were my first video game podcast. Love it. Keep up the good work.
Uh-oh. We're his first, which means he's going to go out there and realize there's better shows than us.
Like most firsts in your life, you realize there's something better.
Yeah. Like, wow, that's pretty good. Oh my god, this new thing is awesome. What was I thinking?
Here's a little weird one. We'll give a ham sandwich to this guy. Thai Guy 22. Thanks for the blissful escape of the daily monotony and the lucid hallucinations that follow. What are you guys putting in those ham sandwiches anyways? Whatever it is, keep it up because your show is the best podcast to represent STL.
St. Louis?
St. Louis.
Yeah, St. Louis. And I was wondering, do we really represent St. Louis?
Yeah, baby. Go
I don't
Rams.
have a problem. I don't have a problem representing.
I don't have a problem with representing St. Louis either. Well, ham sandwich at Thai Guy 22. Thanks for the review, but we are a Cleveland-based podcast, although we will represent St. Louis.
Yes. The Video Game Show, now the official podcast of St. Louis.
And that was Video Game Show episode number 98 for Sunday, July 13th, 2008. Any ham sandwiches or Shattered Dream pies?
Shattered Dream Pie to the sun.
Because it wasn't here, because it's really hot.
Because it's really hot.
Yeah, you'll have that.
I guess I have to give Chad a Shattered Dream Pie. I got an email notification that my 360 arrived on Wednesday night, and it's ready to be shipped. I'm sure you haven't heard back yet, huh?
You sent yours in yet, Chad?
I did. I sent it in on Wednesday, so I'm sure I'll hear about it this week.
I got another Shattered Dream Pie for Sunfire66. Her WoW account got hacked in again last week.
Boy, she's
She
not in our
shares her-
guild, is she?
She is, but she's at
Yeah.
the lowest rank
Where-
that has no access to anything, the bank or anything.
How did someone hack your account?
She shares her account with her boyfriend, so he does a lot of raiding, and he's a paladin. So I think what they're doing is they're getting some bum user interfaces and add-ons that they're adding in. They're somehow getting keyloggers into them, and I think that's what's happening.
We have a couple anniversaries coming up for the Video Game Show. We're quickly approaching episode 100, and during PAX, we'll be celebrating our 2-year anniversary. We'd like to hear from our fans with maybe a little message left in our voicemail or an MP3 sent to the mailbag. We'll probably include those in the anniversary shows. Also, if you guys check out the show notes this week, you'll see a link to an audience survey provided by our MP3 host, Libsyn. We'd like our listeners to help us out and take that. And don't think your effort's going to waste. When you fill out that survey, you will be entered in a giveaway for a chance to win an iPod Touch. All the details for the giveaway will be found in this week's show notes. This week for the GamerCast Network Gaming Night. On Friday, they're playing Burnout Paradise for the Xbox 360. For all the details, check out the GamerCast Network forums at gamercastnetwork.com/forums. And as usual, send your comments, questions, queries, concerns, or roll call question to the mailbag at mailbag@videogameshow.org, Skype us at videogameshow, or call us at 320-300-GAME. That is a standard long distance call and all normal fees apply. And that's a wrap. Good night. Do other stuff. That's like my vice is comic books.
Yeah, that's
So-
cool.
So do you keep the ones that you don't like, or do you...
Yeah, why not? They're going to go up in value eventually. Yeah, seal them in their bags, put them in the basement, lock them away, and get a nice, dry, climate-controlled environment.
All right, Porky. Climate-controlled environment.
That's so mean.